Press the button, but there we go. I pressed the button, everybody, but then it didn't go live, and so there's a little bit of a weirdness there. But if you want to win on the internet, you have to have relevant and engaging content on your website. And it does not stop at your website copy. A blog for your small business can be its most powerful tool in attracting online traffic. However, many small businesses are already busy enough and don't have time to really give it to your blog. But fear not, my lovely viewers, it doesn't take much to get your business's blog up and running, and generating relevant content is not as hard as you think. Welcome to our live stream, folks. Once again, thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to get to sit down with you and chat about all of the various aspects of digital marketing. If you are new to our live stream, first off, welcome. And I am your neighborhood-friendly community relations coordinator, Kandice Tyler. Each week, I get to talk with some member of the BizIQ family about what they think about digital marketing, and today's guest is a newbie to our live stream. However, we have worked together on previous projects, so I know we are in well-capable hands. It is Mr. Tim Hawley. Woo! Tim, I'm happy to have you with us, but can you give some of our viewers a little bit of background about you, what you do here at BizIQ, all that great stuff?
Well, I'm an account manager for BizIQ, and my job is to assist my clients in making sure that their company's digital visibility, nice to talk about that, is maximized. So we want to make sure that we are getting our clients seen on the internet, not just parking a website. Everyone can have a website. It's like a placemat. But if you want to be seen, you have to be maximized and optimized, and that's what we do, and that's what I do. And I also want to make sure that their website is accurately representing them on the web. So we make sure that there are any changes that has to be made. We make sure everything's right for them so that everything's perfect, so their clients can find them and utilize them when they need them.
And if I'm not mistaken, we also have a little promotion that's about to happen, right?
Yes.
I
was just promoted to manager trainer for the customer success department.
Woohoo!
I'm very pleased.
Out. Yes, me too. Watch out, everybody, because we have an expert in the house. So, Tim, when you're talking with your clients about blogs, what are some common issues that you hear, and how do you address those?
The most common issues I hear from my clients are time and talent for writing, because most people just don't have the time. First and foremost, they're running a business. And of course, oftentimes they have families, they have social commitments, they have all these things going on. They don't have time to sit down at night and write a blog and come up with all the information. So that's the biggest thing is time. And then the talent for writing. So many people I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. So that's where we come in. We have the blog experts. We have the time, and we take it off your shoulders to write the proper blogs, to make sure it's professionally done, to make sure it's optimized for you so that you don't have to do all that. That's what we do.
Yes, and I love that. You're just killing it already. Now, I know some businesses do write their blogs in-house, but many companies will write blogs for your business, like you mentioned. Do you have any experience in that area?
Absolutely. We have a staff of professional copywriters that we send our blogs to. So what we'll do is we get the ideas for the blogs. We get, keywords that we're going to use. We work with the copywriters. We make sure that they produce a professional blog, which they do every time. And then they get them back to us so they can be posted in a timely manner, because that's what we're doing. We're doing content marketing. We're making sure that new content is constantly on the client's website.
Mm-hmm. And are there any pros or cons that you can think of that accompanies this service?
Well, I really don't see any cons, honestly, because what you're doing is you're giving us the ideas. You're giving us the topics, as it were. And if you don't have the topics, I haven't thought of any, because I've had this happen many times. I haven't had time to think about that. Will you do it for me? Absolutely. And at that point, I'll go out and research common questions, common issues in the industry, things that are maybe technological advances in the industries, and bring them up as topics and make sure they apply to my client. And then we get them to the writers and they put it all together and bring it back. So there really isn't any cons. The pros are all there, though.
Yes, I love it. Now, one con that I can think of is if you're a true DIYer and you need to write your own blogs. It might be because your business is very technical, or it's kind of hard to find a writer that writes about your subject with the expertise that you need.
Absolutely.
Right. I've seen this in like engineers or like specialty engineers, trading, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But if you are looking to write your own blogs, Tim and I are going to give you 6 steps so that you can write with confidence.
Yes, we are.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about blog post topics. Blogs are crucial to your business's online presence because blogs are a way of answering those questions that your consumers are already having. And this also positions your business as an industry leader. Tim, how do you choose blog topics for some of your clients, and what does that conversation kind of look like?
Well, first and foremost, I will call the client up and say, "Hey, we need to get to talking about blog topics for this month." If I could speak, um,
It's
and
Friday.
oftentimes it'll be something that's they might be having sales, they might be having new promotions for their business, and we like to tie the blogs into that for them. If they don't have any ideas, like I said before, I will go out and research industry topics, questions, issues, advancements that people. The questions, obviously, there's always a lot of questions that people have about different industries, and we'll write about those topics because we want people to be. We want topics that people are searching for. We want topics that people are interested in. It's got to be interesting, or it's just not worth writing about. I have one client that when we talk about topics, he actually sends me a lot of the blog written because he's a counselor in domestic violence and in chemical addiction, and he's very consistent on what he wants to have written. So we take that and then we adapt it into what is more appropriate for the masses. We aren't
Right.
writing blogs that are for everybody, for just for one little segment. We want everyone to be able to read them. So
Exactly. And I love that you said that you also do promos and sales and promotions and stuff like that.
mhm.
Because I don't know, just in my head, I'm not client facing, guys, so I don't have to deal with our clients too much. But I always thought of blogs like they're just questions that people are asking or specific things about the industry that you're in. So if you're listening, I love that little tidbit there.
Well,
But
I'll give you a little bit on one of them. And actually, it's really nice because I have a client down in Texas who is health and beauty, natural health and beauty, and this month we're doing blogs for her on natural deodorant and natural sunscreens. And this is people don't realize that there's so many chemicals that are seeping into our bodies with all the ointments and things we put on that we're not sure what the harmful effects are for many of them. And it's nice to know that there are natural ways of doing it, and that's how we tied it in. And she's actually having a sale on natural deodorants and natural sunscreens in the next month, so it helps to boost the popularity of those items.
and also just like random things I know about natural deodorant. Apparently, when you first start it, you're going to smell horrible for like 30 days, but it's because your body is like naturally detoxing.
Yeah,
And then all of the deodorant aspects and that sort of thing kind of kick in afterwards.
absolutely.
I'm going to be checking out that afterwards. But let's also talk about keyword selection.
hmm
Now, is there a phrase that you keep in mind when you're writing?
Well, first and
Tim,
foremost,
yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Keyword selection.
keyword selection. You want to make keywords that are pertinent to your company's goods and services. You want to make sure that you're using keywords that, I mean, if you're a tractor dealer in Des Moines, you don't want to be writing about shovels in Ohio. You want to talk about tractors and you want to talk about how it is working in the Iowa area. That's how we want to look at your keywords. So, for example, if I'm looking at tractors in Des Moines, I might say, um, I don't know if there's different soils in Des Moines, but just for something like different tractors for different soils in the Iowa,
Oh,
farms, that kind of stuff. And that way you might, or different wheels for the different tractors in Iowa farms. That way people can understand that, yeah, I never knew about that. That's something
right.
that's interesting. So,
Now, once you have a topic and a keyword selected, it's all about outlining your blog post.
mhm.
And we are going to be throwing it back to your English 101 days. So, first and foremost, your blog needs to have an introduction, and it needs to be something that captures your audience's attention. This can usually be done by asking a question, stating a fact, or just something that really draws them in and makes them think, oh, well, let me look into this a little bit further. After your introduction, you have your body that has all of the good information. It's like the the meat and potatoes of the pot roast. And then at the end, you have your conclusion. This is where you want to go over everything that you talked about in your body and also give them a call to action. So if you are having A, B, C, and D as problems, reach out to us because we want to help you. Do you have any other tips when business owners should keep in mind when they are writing these blog posts?
Yeah. Make sure that you're keeping it down a level. You don't want to be, if you are too technical, you're going to lose your readership. So you want to make sure that it's something that's written in everyday language. It's written in a method that from high school below can read it and understand it. Those are very important. And you also want to keep it interesting and somewhat a little bit lighter than dire consequences type things. You want people to enjoy reading your blogs. So the relevant points of information have to be in there, obviously, but you want to make it so that it's almost conversational with your readership, so they feel that they are linking to you. They are kind of, I don't know how I can say it. It's just more of a thing where they're connecting with you is the word I would say.
Yes, and I do just want to highlight again, you want to make sure that your blog posts are at that high school reading level because, like you said, you want it to be, available to the masses. It doesn't need to be this grandiose Harvard level dissertation with everything T's and crossed, I's dotted, all that great stuff, because these are just people. They're people like you and me. And so
the punctuation is important.
Yes, always. Download Grammarly. If you don't have it, it's amazing. Highly, highly recommend. We do have some comments here. Let me see. Nika Davis, we have, what is the best way to format a snippet? Okay, so what kind of snippet are we talking about here? Maybe something that's in the blog post. There could be a quote that really resonates with your blog. Let's see, another important piece of information. So if there's a statistic that you really want to stand out, that's a good snippet area. Do you have any ideas for good snippets in blogs?
Snippets should include a quick topic headline, just a little bit of a blurb as to what your blog is about, and of course your location and company name, because you want to make sure that people are tying all this together with you.
Right. Always include your company
and a call to action.
Yes. Because you would think that, you have your company information somewhere on the website, but you don't want them to have to search for it. You want them to be like, well, I should give them a call. And then boom, the phone number is right there for them. So as many places as you can, not to overload them, but just so that it's easy for them to find that information and you don't want them digging or searching through your website to find it.
Correct.
Now let's see what other questions that we did have here. Do you have any other tips that you'd like to talk about for our viewers and how to write with purpose?
Well, actually, again, like we talked about, when you're delivering information, you want to make sure it's easy to understand. You want to make that engaging to the reader. You don't want to drone on like an encyclopedia. Short sentences that are easy to read along with short paragraphs. Keep the technical terms to a minimum and make sure your ideas are explained thoroughly. You want the average person to be able to read your post without any problem. That's the main thing. It really is. And while you write, pay attention to what you're writing. Are you staying on track with your topic? Are you and making sure you're using your keywords? Are you answering questions that people might have when they read this content? Try to keep yourself focused. Your blog doesn't need to be long. It just needs to be informative.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's also it too. Like, you don't want to write your blog so long that you're stretching it out. Like, you don't have anything else to talk about, but you're trying to meet this specific character limit that you've set for yourself. If you're done talking, then you're done talking.
Yeah, you're done.
You've given the information. And people like things that are short and sweet,
They do. They do.
One thing that you did say in all of that was interesting. Oh man, I wanted to comment on it. And now, the technical jargon. Watch out for technical jargon, because if you're in your industry, you're having that technical jargon all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But your readers may not know that. So really keep it simple. If there is any terms like, for us, SEO or search engine optimization, that's considered a jargon term. So you and me may know what SEO means, but we always want to make sure that we're providing that detail so that they understand it as well.
Absolutely. That's one of the hardest things that I have to do. Well, actually, it's easy now. But when you're talking to a client, you say, we SEO your site, which means we are optimizing it for Google to to view your site to rank you higher. And people don't understand. They say, oh, okay. Now I know what
Yes.
SEO is. It's just basically telling Google, hey, look at me. And that's what we're doing. So that's the same thing you're doing with your blog is you want to make sure you're optimizing it for even now. Google is now doing search phrases in blogs and stuff. So that when people are typing something, a phrase from your blog might be found in a Google search, just a phrase from your blog. So that's wonderful to utilize.
Yes. Now, once we have all of those together, we want to talk about editing and making sure that your post is edited to perfection. So, look up some comma rules because that's something that always gets people. Also, I would highly recommend Grammarly. I have it downloaded and I run everything through it. If I'm going to send an email to somebody, if I am writing something like this, I just always want to make sure that my thoughts and opinions are going to come across clear and concise. And Grammarly is just an excellent way for me to do that, at least. What do you got, Tim?
Well, I'm the same way. But once you have your blog edited and it's ready to go, you want to make sure that it's built on the right platform. Now, most platforms are on WordPress, and it's easy to create a blog post and put it in there. But you can copy and paste your blog post into your browser, hit publish, and you're live. It's really great. But from there, you might want to add a photo or a link information where necessary to any last minute tweaks or formatting so it looks great on your site. Visually, it has to look appealing too. So that's why I like to look at photos and links to make sure that it's right for your site and visually appealing for your readership.
Yes, and we do have another question that has come in, so let me answer that. A snippet answer that Google will promote in the search results to persons in question. So one good way is to look at what your keyword is and then type that into Google Trends, because what Google Trends is going to do is it's going to show you, hey, is this a keyword or a phrase that people are searching for? And then you're also going to be able to compare those two searches. So say you are, we'll do the tractor example again. You want tractors good for soil versus tractors good for what acreage of land that you have. You'll type both of those phrases into Google Trends and look at what the search results are coming up. Are people more interested in the special types of soil for a tractor, or are they really looking at, hey, what acreage of land do I have and how big of a tractor do I need? And that's going to really make sure that your blogs are showing up. That's not going to be the only thing because there's
Right.
a million tiny little things that Google is looking for to make sure that you are going to come up first. But that's how I would make sure that you are writing the correct blog posts. Do you have anything to follow up on that, Tim?
No, I think you covered it very well.
Well, thank you. Now, we did talk about images a little bit and what type of images work best. So say somebody has a flip phone. Can they just flip out that camera and take a picture, or is there a little bit more to that?
There's a little bit more to it. I highly recommend, number one, if you're using a camera phone and you're taking pictures for it, make sure it's a quality photo. Not just, I mean, the lighting has to be right. Things do have to be good for people to enjoy that image. And if you don't have that kind of talent, there's always Shutterstock or one of the other licensed photo agencies that you can use. Don't just find a photo on the web and put it into your blog, because that's
Right.
copyright infringement. So if you get a licensed picture from Shutterstock, as one of the companies, that pertains to your blog, that's how I would do it. If you don't have good photos to put onto your blog, then use Shutterstock.
Real, and I do want to press on that copyright infringement as well. Do not just grab any old picture off of the web. Please, please, please make sure you have the correct rights to it, because we don't want anything bad to come from it. So if you have a Shutterstock account, another great one is Envato. They can have some more graphics. They'll also have some videos if that's something that you're looking for. So make sure you're using the proper channels with that. Also, we talked about lighting, and I just want to share some tips that I have. If you're taking a selfie or you're doing a live stream like this, one of the great ways or places that you can get some good lighting is in your kitchen. So if there's a nice window seal, you can set up your phone or your laptop or whatever that you have there, and it's going to give you good lighting. And then also make sure that you are in direct lighting. So you don't want the light behind you, like currently I have a window open, but I also have a ring light here that's giving me direct lighting on my face, because if I didn't have that, you would just get this weird shadow. So direct lighting and look at your kitchen. That's going to be another great place to take
Make sure it's
photos.
clean.
Yes, clean, high
People don't want to
quality.
see your dirty kitchen.
Yeah. Make sure you're looking at the background a little bit, taking up some towels off the ground, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But good luck with those, guys. Next thing I want to talk about is our blog service. So can you tell us about how our blogs work? You kind of mentioned it a little bit, and how much does that cost?
Well, our blog service is truly excellent. It really is. We have two different levels of blogs right now. We have single blogs for 120 a month, and then we have two blogs a month for 180. It's a great process, and we have so many different ways that you can structure it for the client's taste. For example, it can be as simple as the client says, I don't want to worry about it. I want you guys to do everything. Leave me out of it.
Right.
Okay, we'll pick the blog topics. We'll send it to the writers, blog topics and keywords. We'll send it to the writers. They send it back to us. We post it, and it's done. It's wonderful. Then there are times there are clients that actually want me to pick want to pick the blog topics, and then we do it. We write it. They don't need to review it, and we put it up on the web. Then there's the ones that want to pick the topics and review the content. So we get the blog topics from them. We send it off to the writers. We send it to them to edit. I have a veterinarian up in Minnesota that does that because she wants to make sure it's technically correct so that it's, for her and her husband, it represents them. And then they get it back to us. We put it on the web. So there's so many different ways we can do it for you depending on what you want. Like I said, I have a counseling service up in Washington that they pretty much write the blog. We craft it into a more user-friendly blog. He still reviews it, and then we send it up, put it on the web. So all that's how little or how much participation you want to have in it. We work with you. That's how we do it. But for one blog, it's 120, and for two blogs, it's 180. And you're getting that constant change of content on your site, which Google loves.
Yes. And one thing I want to touch on is when you say we put it up on the web, we don't just put it up on the web. Like we do, but there is a lot of background things that are happening as well. Like we are putting in meta tags and H1 headings and H2 headings and formatting it so that people can scan it. Because to be honest, people don't read anymore. It's just
we're fully optimizing these blogs.
Yes. So you want you want your blog to be scannable so that people can just kind of scroll through, find the information they want, and contact you immediately. So that's it. But Tim, give us one final Tim Hawley pro tip, please.
Don't forget to mention your company name, location, and other pertinent information in your blog, like contact numbers.
Right.
Comment buttons are very important because that gives you a gauge of how many people are enjoying or not enjoying your blog. Another thing is a share button so that people can share your blog on social media. Never hurts to have even more of your content out throughout the web.
Yes.
The webosphere.
The webosphere. Anywhere that you can put it, on your Facebook, your Instagram.
Absolutely.
Instagram is a little bit more challenging because they don't allow links in the captions. So you kind of got to work around it there. But share it. Share it everywhere.
Yeah, share it to your Twitter. Share it to your Facebook. Share it to your LinkedIn. If you are on LinkedIn. There's a lot of professionals out there that don't realize that social media and their blogs can work together to help them in their endeavor to create a better brand and to get wider acceptance.
Yes, I love the LinkedIn part because a lot of times we just think about the main ones, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But LinkedIn is actually pretty popular, and sometimes those clients are a little bit further down in the pipeline. It's a more professional atmosphere. It's not just like people showing pictures of their grandkids. They're really looking for something when they're there.
That's absolutely true. As a matter of fact, I was talking to an engineering firm in Louisiana about LinkedIn and how it could help them. And he was very interested in that because he hadn't thought about how, yes, there's a whole area of people that I can market to freely, not freely, but it takes time and we can him with that. But it's a huge area that opened up for him. And he's like, wow, I hadn't thought about that. Well, that's what we do. And that's why it's so important to share your blogs out there.
Exactly. And I do want to give some time back to our lovely audience. If there's anything that we talked about today, you have questions or maybe like some more clarification, we've kind of been answering them throughout, but I just want to make sure if there's anybody that, last minute ones that want to come through. But Tim, while they are dropping some questions, can you tell us about a client that you like working with?
Yeah, I have a client in Texas. It's that same client I was telling you about, her with the health and beauty store,
Yeah.
and her campaign is going tremendously because she takes advantage of all of the avenues that we utilize here at BizIQ to promote her business, to make her visible, to get as many people to see her website and to see her business in her area as possible. And it's so much fun to talk to her. I talk to her every 60 days just to do reviews, but we also talk every month about her blogs, and I'll call her up just to do a check-in and see how she's going. And it's great. It really is. And it's nice to see when people are thriving. As a matter of fact, I asked her, how did she do in 2020 versus 2019 with the pandemic? And she was saying that they actually wound up like 10% higher in sales in 2020 than they did in 2019. And
Wow.
she thanks, she goes, it's all because of you guys. You guys got us out there. You helped us out. You stood with us. You helped us change and pivot to what we needed to do. And it really made me happy.
Yeah. Is she doing our micro e-commerce by chance?
No, she's not. She is not. She says, I
She
have too
sounds like a
many items.
great
It would
candidate.
be, I know. We did talk about it, but she's like, no, I just don't want to do e-commerce. She goes, I want people coming in. I want to talk to them.
Yep, I understand that though. I am missing that human interaction as well. Hopefully here soon. Right. Hopefully here soon that we'll all be back to normal. Crossing all of my fingers. But
yep.
With that, this week's episode is a wrap. Thank you, Tim, for taking time out of your schedule to talk with us and be with us. And I loved everything that you had to say.
Well, thank you.
And like every week and every time I talk to you guys, thank you to our lovely audience, because I would not be doing this if it wasn't for your viewership. It's a pleasure to bring this information to you every week. And if there is a specific topic that you would like us to cover or something that we haven't covered already, please feel free to drop that subject in the comment section and I will be happy to add it to our calendar for next month. But same time, same place, next week, I will be talking about DuckDuckGo versus Google and everything that you need to know about the two different search engines. So you don't want to miss that one. But until then, my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.